Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The echo of footsteps in the stark corridor of the Genoa City Police Department was the only sound Winters could focus on as she made her way past the uniformed officers and cold steel walls. Her mind was a haze of emotions, betrayal, fury, heartbreak, but most of all, confusion. She wasn't sure what she hoped to get from this confrontation, but one thing was certain, she needed to look in the eyes and ask her why she did this, why she took. Why she tore apart everything they had worked so hard to build. Stopped at the end of the hallway as the officer opened the interrogation room door. Inside sat her once fierce eyes now dulled, her body wrapped in the bland orange of the jail-issued jumpsuit. The transformation was almost unbearable. Who had once been a trusted part of his family, who had carried, who had promised to protect him, was now a shadow of herself. Stepped inside, her heels clicking sharply against the linoleum as she sat down across from her. The silence was suffocating. Didn't speak first, she simply looked at with an expression caught between guilt and despair. Her hands trembled slightly and her lips parted, as if words were stuck in her throat. Broke the silence, why? Her voice didn't crack, it came out stronger than she expected, tinged with a cool rage. She needed to stay calm for herself. Looked down at her hands, then slowly met gaze. I don't know, she whispered. I wish I could explain it. I thought I was protecting him, I thought he needed me. Sproul furrowed. You thought kidnapping my son and planning to run away to Mexico was protecting him. I know how it sounds, said, voice breaking. I wasn't thinking straight. I didn't even realize how far I'd gone until it was too late. I saw him hurting, confused. I felt like no one understood what he needed. I convinced myself that I was the only one who could help him. Leaned back in her chair, folding her arms. You convinced yourself to steal someone else's child. You told that he couldn't see his parents, that they didn't want him anymore. I wasn't trying to hurt him, said quickly. I was trying to make it easier. I was going to give him a new life, one where he didn't have to be torn between people always fighting over him. I thought maybe if we disappeared, he'd finally be safe, happy. Stared at her in disbelief. You thought kidnapping him would make him happy, was terrified. He thought it was a game at first, but he realized it was. He you to stop. His face crumpled. I know, when he cried, when he said he just wanted to go home, it hit me. I realized I was the problem, I was the danger, and still I couldn't stop. It was like something inside me was screaming louder than reason. His eyes narrowed. Ward. Froze. Devon and I heard about the visions, continued. The hallucinations, you thought you were seeing Ward. Snod was slow, almost imperceptible. He kept showing up, telling me what to do, making me doubt everyone, making me think I was saving from some kind of danger. I thought he was real. I swear I thought it all made sense in the moment. The room felt colder now. Its anger didn't vanish, but it softened around the edges. She had seen mental health crises before. Her family had its fair share of meltdowns, breakdowns, and betrayals. But this was someone she once loved as family, someone who had cradled her child and whispered promises of protection, unraveling into someone she barely recognized. You need help, finally said, her voice quieter. Not just from lawyers, but from doctors. You're sick. That's the only reason I'm sitting here trying to make sense of this. Blinked back tears. I don't expect you to forgive me. I can't even forgive myself. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I've become. You became someone I can't trust, replied, but part of me still sees the woman who carried, who sang to him every night, who cried when he was born. I miss him, said through her tears, every second. Stood, her chair screeching lightly against the floor. You don't get to miss him, not like this. You gave that up when you took him. For a moment she stared down at. There was no satisfaction in seeing her broken, no justice in this small room, but there was truth, and maybe that was the first step toward healing. As left the room, her hands clenched at her sides, she knew the journey ahead wouldn't be easy, for any of them. But she wasn't finished yet. The door clicked shut behind as she stepped out of the interrogation room. Her body felt them before, like each step she took was weighted with the pain of everything that had just transpired. Seeing like that, a shadow of her former self, broken, lost, and trapped in her own mind, had been jarring. The woman once trusted with her child was now facing charges for kidnapping, and yet there was a part of her that couldn't bring herself to hate fully. Devon was waiting outside, standing stiffly with his arms crossed. The second he saw, his eyes searched her face for answers. Well, he asked. Didn't answer right away. She glanced down the hallway as if she might still hear echoes of his voice. She's not well, Devon, she's sick. Devon frowned, but I figured, the hallucinations, Ward, it's not something someone in their right mind could believed, but she did. Sighed, she said she really thought she was protecting, that we were hurting him somehow, that if she took him away he'd be safe. That's not protection, Devon snapped, that's delusion. I know, but's okay, and we got him back in time, that's what matters now. Devon's jaw tightened, but he relented, taking on her. Yeah, she'll need the best, she's facing serious time, but if the psych confirms everything she said, maybe they'll push for a mental health facility instead. Devon looked down at the floor for a long moment before finally muttering, I just don't get how we missed it, how it got this far. Because we trusted her, said, we saw her love for and we thought it meant safety, we didn't see the pain she was hiding, the trauma, the cracks forming under the surface. Silence lingered between them for a beat before Devon finally asked, how Dom doing this morning? He slept a little better last night, said, but he still asks about her, he still calls her Mama. Devon, a hand across his face, that's going to mess with his head. I know, I'm going to call a child psychologist, we have to help him sort through this, he deserves answers just like we did. Hours later stood over Sped, watching as he played quietly with a set of toy trucks. His eyes looked distant, not as bright as they used to be, his smile came slower, more cautious. Dom, she said gently, do you want to talk to Mommy? He looked up at her and is bad. The question hit like a punch in the chest. Sat beside him and pulled him close. No, baby's not bad, she's just sick. Sometimes when people are sick in their mind, they do things they wouldn't normally do. She didn't mean to hurt you, but she made a mistake and now she has to fix it. Pressed his small hand to his chest. Will she get better? I hope so, whispered, I really hope so. Days passed, filed motions, gathered medical records, and coordinated with the court psychiatrist. The early signs pointed toward a severe psychotic break brought on by compounded trauma, kidnapping months prior, hormonal shifts, attachment confusion, and buried grief. All of it created a perfect storm that made her ripe for delusions. On the day of the hearing, hesitated outside the courtroom, Sharon had shown up, hopping to lend moral support for her daughter, she spotted in the hallway. Thank you for coming, Sharon said softly, she needs you. Didn't know how to respond to that. I'm not here for, she said, I'm here for, I want the court to know the damage she caused. Sharon slowly swallowing her pride, I understand, just, if you can find even a little bit of grace in your heart, she's going to need that too. Inside the courtroom looked even smaller than she had in the jail. She was pale, her eyes red from crying, her frame tense, but she was calm, medicated likely, and grounded by at her side. The judge listened carefully as presented the psychological evaluations and the full context of mental state, took the stand, her voice steady as she described the events from her perspective, the terror, the search, confusion, the breach of trust. I don't want her locked away forever, admitted at the end of her statement, but I do want the court to recognize that she's not safe, not until she's treated and better, and even then, I don't know. Closing argument didn't excuse actions, instead she contextualized them. My client experienced a severe break from reality, she was haunted by a past abuser, Ward, and those hallucinations led her to believe she was doing the right thing. That doesn't erase the pain she caused, but it should affect how we choose to rehabilitate her. The judge ruled that would be remanded to a secure psychiatric facility for evaluation and treatment, with periodic reviews to determine progress. If her mental health stabilized and she was deemed no longer a threat, her charges could be revisited in the future. Outside the courtroom, and Devon stood silently, Sharon approached again, her expression worn and sorrowful. She's going to get help now, Sharon said. I hope she really wants it, Devon replied. She does, Sharon assured them, she's just broken. Looked toward the window, watching the clouds drift across the sky. So are we, but at least is safe, that's all I care about. Weeks passed. Treatment began showing slow improvements. She began journaling, engaging in therapy, and eventually came to terms with the trauma that had distorted her reality. She wrote letters to and Devon, never asking for forgiveness, only expressing remorse. Letters they didn't respond to, not yet. Slowly healed, with the help of and the unwavering love of and Devon, his laughter returned, his eyes regained their sparkle, and his nightmares began to fade. One afternoon, as watched her son chase butterflies in Chancellor Park, she felt a quiet peace settle over her. The storm had passed, the damage remained, but so did the resilience, and that more than revenge, more than answers, was the start of something new. The road to forgiveness would be long, and wasn't sure they'd ever reach the end of it, but for today, she was just a mother who held her child close and counted her blessings. And somewhere behind the sterile walls of a psychiatric ward was doing the same, counting her regrets and hoping she might be forgiven.